morning to you on this cold morning, and thank you for watching KVUE News Daybreak on KVUE Plus. I'm Yvonne Nava.
And I'm Adam Bennett. We are continuing our weather coverage here on KVUE Plus. We have team coverage all morning long with this winter weather in studio and also out in the field. Hannah Rucker and Kelsey Sanchez are monitoring the roads for us here in studio and out on the roads. And Malia Masamoto is in LaGrange with a look at the snow there. But let's start things with meteorologist Jordan Derensberg with a look at the forecast on this Weather Impact Alert Day. Good morning, Jordan.
Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Yvonne. Good morning, everyone across Central Texas. And here is a quick look at what we're looking at from a snow perspective right now. And we are seeing the heaviest batch of snow over portions of Lee, Bastrop, northeastern Caldwell, southwestern Travis, as well as eastern sections of Hays County. And that includes you guys, Bobcats, down in San Marcos. We're starting to see some flurries as well about to make its way through portions of the Lake Travis area, places like Laga Vista, seeing some of that as well. And also Cedar Park down toward Leander, as well as maybe even Liberty Hill out to west of Georgetown, seeing some of that as well. But take a look at this. This is dry air that's going to be filtering in from the northwest, and that's what's going to cancel out a lot of the snow that we have been seeing so far this morning. But check this out. We are pretty much having it good right now compared to places like Houston and along the Texas Gulf Coast, where they have a little bit more in terms of moisture available colliding with that cold air. That's why they're seeing such heavier snow in places like Houston and even out toward Beaumont and even southwestern sections of Louisiana. And I'm going to show you the rare event in a moment. But right now, we do have that winter storm warning that is in effect for areas along and east of I-35 until 6 this evening. And this is because of that snow that we've had, and that could cause travel conditions to be especially dangerous in some spots. It could be pretty tricky, especially in the Austin metro. Out in the Hill Country, and Mason and Milam counties have been dropped from this, there is a winter weather advisory in place, which means not as much accumulation, but still enough to cause some slick spots. Now, as we zoom this out, if you're in the Beaumont area watching us right now, I know some of y'all may have interests out there and out towards southwestern sections of Louisiana, there is a blizzard warning in effect, and that is the first blizzard warning ever issued by that National Weather Service office. We have a cold weather advisory also in effect for all of the KVUE viewing area because of wind chills that are going to get down below 20. We've met the threshold there. But take a look at this. We're starting to see the first light of day from our Zach Theater weather camera. This is Lamar and Riverside Drive, that particular street corner right there south of Lady Bird Lake. And we're in the upper 20s at both the airport and Camp Mabry. We do have lower to mid-20s over sections of the Hill Country, and when you factor in these winds, we've got gusts of around 20 miles an hour, a little bit greater than that, and sustained winds around 5 to 10 miles an hour. These are our feels-like temperatures. These are the temperatures you dress for if you're heading outside, and that is mid to upper teens area-wide. So now through Wednesday morning, this is our weather impact alert period. And so you want to make sure that you have all of those hard freeze preparations done. And if you have to be out, you need to drive very, very slowly and carefully. We've had reports of accidents all over the place this morning, and Hannah Rucker is going to have more on that in your traffic update in a bit. But right now, as we go hour by hour, we are going to get to the lower 30s and upper 20s by the time we get to 11 a.m. And then eventually we will be getting to the upper 30s by the time we get to 4 this afternoon. We are going to warm up a little bit, especially as we head into Saturday. We're going to eventually get to average for this time of year, which is 63. And a quick look at our allergy count shows cedar and mold in the medium and other trees in the low. And you can find this allergy count each and every day on KVUE.com and the KVUE app. But as we warm up, we do have chances for actual liquid precipitation for Sunday and Monday, with highs getting close to 70 for Sunday. Hannah?
Thanks so much, Jordan. Your time now 7:06 and seeing those travel impacts across the state of Texas, especially across our region right now. And this is why I always emphasize this time of year, it is so good to have a winter emergency kit in your car. The reason for that is you never know what you're going to be stuck behind and how long. And that is what we're seeing right now. So they are still trying to haul off that 18-wheeler from that incident in Buda much earlier. That is still creating slowdowns in the northbound lanes if you're traveling in from Buda, San Marcos, Kyle. And then look at this over here. They just kind of pulled off that vehicle here on 290 and 183 that was causing some slowdowns in the northbound lanes at 183. So if you're heading out towards North Shoal Creek. But I mean, this map is still just kind of littered with these collisions. It doesn't take much on our roads. I mean, we even see stuff like this when it's raining out. So just imagine the conditions now with the slick roads and the low visibility from some of those flurries. So definitely still seeing a lot of activity across the map.
All right, thank you so much. It is cold out there. Some of the hardest hit areas actually in the southeast part of our viewing area, like in LaGrange, Bastrop, those areas.
That's right. And speaking of LaGrange, that's where Malia Masamoto is right now with a look at the conditions. Malia, I know we've seen a little bit of everything there this morning. We've seen the snow, we see the wind behind you. How are things looking right now?
Well, Adam and Yvonne, you can probably see these flurries have really picked up in the last, I'd say, 15, 20 minutes. They kind of stopped for about an hour there this morning. It was going on earlier in this morning around 5 a.m., kind of stopped from that 5 to 6 a.m. hour. And now we're kind of getting more of them. And obviously that wind, these flags have been really blowing, you can tell. And I'll show you what's going on the ground here. In the kind of grassy areas, we're seeing probably an inch, maybe an inch and a half of snow. You can see it better now that the sun is, well, no sun, I should say, but the light is starting to come back on in the morning. You can see just these areas covered with snow. On the roads out here, we've got a little bit of snow patches on there. It's kind of goes in dips of waves of where these snow is and ice on the ground. Cars, I've seen a few that have snow all on the top of their hoods and windshields. So when you're getting up to get your car, it may take a second to kind of defrost it off. It's not so easy to kind of slide off. We kind of had to use a scraper tool to get it off this morning. So you may want to plan that in there when you're thinking about getting ready and going out. Hopefully you don't have to, you can stay inside because it is pretty cold out here, especially in LaGrange. Adam and Yvonne, I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Malia. That's a great point, too, about giving yourself extra time this morning. I had to get the ice scraper out for the first time in a long time, get that defroster running. You know, you don't want to be in a rush on a morning like this if you do have to go somewhere.
Speaking of the cold temperatures, Malia, yeah, the feels like temperatures are in the upper teens and 20s. So we want you to go and get warm. Yes. Take a breather right now because you've been out. We want to make sure that you stay safe. But thanks for checking in with us throughout the morning.
Thanks, Malia. All right, here's a look at the radar this morning. The snow is just going down in our area. That is creating some slick conditions.
So if you're heading out on the roads this morning, just please be careful. Kelsey Sanchez, she's taking it slow and steady, right? She's in the Storm Chaser this morning with a look at those conditions. Where are you right now? Have you run into any issues? What are you experiencing out there? You've been out there for a few hours now.
That's right, Yvonne and Adam, and I'm so glad I'm inside the car because it is so cold out there. I can even feel it when I just roll down the window. But we are on southbound Guadalupe, just approaching UT in downtown Austin. And I mean, like you said, I mean, people, if you're going to be out on this road, just be very careful. But I'm going to show you right now, there is nobody on the road with reason. They're probably listening to us right now talking about how, you know, how slick these conditions are, and unfortunately those flurries have stopped. I'm kind of sad about that, but again, if you don't need to be outside, just don't bother. I mean, it is just, we literally slid a couple times. Even when we stop at a stoplight, it's just, we're running into these ice patches that we're not even really seeing. And of course, you know, you just have to be very careful and you have to be very mindful of this because it doesn't matter if you are going slow or if you're going fast. I mean, Hannah Rucker mentioned it earlier, you know, just so many accidents and people are prone to, especially, you know, when it's raining and in these, you know, even dangerous conditions. I mean, you just don't want to be out here. And if you're not used to it, like I'm not used to it, I mean, you got to give yourself that extra time, you know, be more prepared. I mean, you just got to do what you got to do. And again, if you don't need to be out here, just don't do it. Just don't do it. I mean, I'm out here for you guys, but you don't have to do it if you don't need to.
And we appreciate you being out there for us. And it is great, Kelsey, to see that people seem to be listening to the advice of so many officials.
By the way, have you seen anyone? I know
there's no one out here.
Adam said he saw someone on a bicycle. I was like, that's dedication. I can't even ride a bike on a sunny day.
I saw people running. Their workout regimen, they're not letting this stop them. I mean, good for them, could not be me, but hey, people are still out here. But again, just take those precautions, be safe, and of course, stay warm.
Yes, of course. And whether you're running or you're driving, like you said, Kelsey, you know, those icy patches, they're hard to see, especially as the light is still just coming up. And, you know, if you come up on it too fast, you really don't have time to react.
You don't want to slip and fall. And if you're older like me.
Even if it's slow, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know. You don't want to deal with that. Thank you so much. Stay safe. We're going to check back in with you in a bit. Let us know if you run into any issues. Well, Milam, Bastrop, and Fayette counties are seeing some of the coldest temperatures in central Texas. The Fayette County Emergency Management Director says they've decided to close schools and county offices for the safety of kids and staff. And she says their roads and bridge crews, well, they don't have big snow plows for the roads because they rarely get this kind of weather, so they're not really equipped for it, right? But they're prepared for whatever happens. She says they're not too worried about the outcome of this storm compared to some in the past.
This storm's a little bit different because it's only expected to last about 24 hours. So the precipitation is supposed to end Tuesday afternoon. The problem is going to be it's not going to get above freezing. So anything that's on the roads is going to stick again Wednesday morning because it'll be below freezing as well.
And she says that all they ask is for folks to stay inside and stay off the roads if possible to make sure that EMS and first responders can stay safe and warm as well.
This morning, critical department crews at Austin's airport are keeping things running as smoothly as possible. Right now, more than 40 flights out of ABIA are canceled or delayed. Travelers should check with their airlines for the most up-to-date information. Now, in an attempt to minimize delays, airport officials say there is a plan in place to keep the runway clear of ice.
To be prepared, we have a lot of new de-icing technology, and we have not snow plows, but machinery that can go onto our trucks to make sure that we can plow away snow if necessary.
Now, again, if you are traveling today, you want to check with your airline before making that drive out to the airport.
And the Austin Public Library will open several branches to serve as warming centers today. They're going to be open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. The shelters are for anyone who maybe loses power or they just need a warm place to stay. So keep that in mind. Those libraries, they're there to help you out.
A lot of options. And right now, all Cap Metro services are shut down. Bus operations will resume after 10 a.m., but the Cap Metro Rail will not operate today.
And right now, most schools and universities in Central Texas are closed. And we know Harper ISD, Llano ISD, Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired, they're delaying their start. A lot of other districts like AISD, Round Rock ISD, they're just closed altogether for the day. You can find the full list of school closures on kview.com at the bottom of your screen. I know there's no school today, but something tells me kids are going to be up early. I mean, what gives, right? There's no school, but they're going to be up early. I have a feeling because they want to enjoy that snow. We don't get it that often. Well, our team coverage into this weather storm continues with senior reporter Tony Plahetsky.
Tony, I know you've been in touch with officials all across our area all morning long about their response, and you continue to be in touch with them.
Yeah, trying to keep our fingers on all of the different communities throughout Central Texas. And now we want to bring in an official from the Williamson County Sheriff's Office. His name is Commander Craig Githentrong. And Commander, I know that you have been since 3 o'clock this morning at the command post at the Emergency Operations Center there in Williamson County. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. Can you just give us an estimate, a survey on the road conditions there in Williamson County this morning?
Well, the conditions we're seeing in Williamson County is accumulating snow on our bridges and overpasses, and our non-heavily traveled roads like frontage roads and side streets are pretty slick. Our road department is working pretty hard to try to get ahead of that and treat those roads. We haven't seen an uptick in any kind of crashes or anything over the night, mainly because I think people were listening to us and didn't get out.
And just to confirm that as of right now, no Williamson County roads are closed at this time. They're being treated, they remain open, but of course you're urging people to be very cautious. That's correct. None of the roads in the Williamson County area are being closed right now. Some in the cities are, but not in the county. And we do ask that everybody, if you can, stay at home and enjoy the snow. Don't get out on the roadways. If you do have to get out and drive, please slow down. Increase the distance between you and the vehicle you're following, and don't put yourself into a situation where you may need to take evasive action. So as of this morning, it's what, 7:15. How many deputies, an estimate, are on duty, and what types of things are they doing? Are they actively patrolling, or are they responding to calls, or a little bit of both? What are they doing at this hour?
It's kind of a normal day today right now. We have between 15 and 20 deputies out between our patrol and our traffic division, and they're answering a few crashes, but mostly disturbances and stuff that we handle all the time.
And so if people do have to venture out this morning for whatever reason, what is your advice? You've been on the road yourself getting to where you are. What kind of advice do you have for those folks?
Again, just know where you're going, research it ahead of time and kind of get what the road conditions are before you get out on the roads. Once you're on the road, slow down and just keep some distance between you and the other vehicles on the roadway in case you need to come to a stop.
Commander, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Again, Williamson County Sheriff's Commander Craig Rippentrong giving us an inside view into the Emergency Operations Center there in Williamson County. We appreciate your time and you for joining us again this morning. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir.
He gave some good advice when he said kind of know where you're going. You know what I mean? Do your homework. Right now, Jordan, let's take a quick look at the forecast before we do an update on KVUE. So let's talk a little bit about that, Jordan.
Yes, Yvonne, and yes, Adam and Tony. Excuse me here. Yes, we are still seeing some good bits of snow over portions of the coastal plains. There it is, places just south of Bastrop, just south of the Buc-ee's there in Bastrop, as well as the airport, starting to see a little bit of that snow starting to taper off a little bit. But places like Lockhart still involved in some of that snow shower activity, and an intensifying band there a little bit right there near Lake Travis. However, I do want to show you is that we've got dry air sliding into the Austin area, and that's going to start to dry us out by the time we get to later on in the morning and in the early sections of the afternoon. However, I also want to show you the Houston area. A lot of areas there seeing some of that heavy banding of snow, and even southeast Texas and into southwestern Louisiana. Those areas actually have something very rare that I'll show you in a moment, but we do have that winter storm warning for areas along and east of I-35 until 6 this evening, and a lot of that actually has to do with those heavier snow totals. There are places like Burnett, Llano, as well as Gillespie and Blanco counties that have that winter weather advisory in effect. They've had lesser accumulations, but the travel issues do remain. There's that blizzard warning. That is super rare for us locally, and that would include places like Beaumont and even off towards southwestern and south central Louisiana. Those areas have that for the first time ever. So a very rare situation for that part of the country. Cold weather advisory in effect until noon on your Wednesday. Quick live look once again from our Zach Theater weather camera right at the corner of Riverside and South Lamar, mainly mid to upper 20s area wide. And when you factor in those winds, we're getting gusts of around 22 miles an hour. And with those winds factored in, we're having wind chills and feels like temperatures in the teens. So now through tomorrow morning, we do have that weather impact alert period. So if you have your hard freeze preps not done yet, make sure you do them. And if you have to be out, please drive slowly. We do expect to clear out for the rest of the morning, getting to the mid-30s by the time we get to 11 a.m.
All right, let's continue to take a live look out here. We're taking a look at downtown Austin. We're going to do a weather and traffic update on KVUE on air, and then we're going to be right back on here on KVUE Plus at 7:30.
I hope y'all are bundled up tight because we have seen a lot go on across our area with that snow moving through. We are taking another live look from that tractor trailer accident a little bit earlier in Buda. TxDOT has got us on the move right now, but we still have a lot popping up, especially if you are traveling in from South Austin today into Central Austin. A lot of ice patches reported so far, and it's mainly been these delivery trucks, the big rigs having to get out on the roads today. Checking in Del Valley, really sleepy there right now on the 130 toll road, but we are having some activity pop up out there. Things are still very slick, and you can see this map is still just lighting up. So taking a look at that tractor trailer incident from earlier, if you're just waking up, that was near SH 45, and that has been going on for hours, really clogging things up on I-35, and then really just kind of a lot of car trouble across the map. We had a pretty bad crash earlier at 290 and 183. That's cleared up, but still seeing impacts across the viewing area as you're heading out on this chilly Tuesday morning. Bundle up tight, y'all. We got another look at weather coming up next.
Another quick look at your forecast, and we are tracking that snow passing through portions of Lee, Bastrop, and even northern Caldwell and eastern Hayes counties, and another band about to cross into the Austin area from Lake Travis. But we've got dry air filtering in. That is going to cancel out a lot of that snow, but we've still got that winter storm warning in effect for areas along and east of I-35 until 6 this evening, and a winter weather advisory for the hill country for that same time frame. And a lot of that actually has to do with the accumulation amounts. We have higher accumulations in the Austin metro and coastal plains. That's why the winter storm warning is in effect. Cold weather advisory until noon for all of us in central Texas. And we're going to warm up quite nicely by the time we get to Sunday with highs getting this closer to 70.
Good morning to you on this snowy morning, and thank you for watching KVUE News Daybreak. I'm Yvonne Nava.
And I'm Adam Bennett. We are continuing our winter weather coverage here on KVUE Plus. Meteorologist Jordan Derensberg is here. Jordan, you've been tracking this snow all morning long, and it looks like you said another band is moving through.
Yeah, and it's pretty much situated over portions of Lake Travis, as well as northern sections of Blanco County, just off to the south of Round Mountain, passing through Johnson City at this particular juncture. Also portions of Gillespie County seeing another round of that snow as well. And it's extended all the way through and around the Round Rock area, maybe toward Lakeline Mall, Cedar Park, maybe even areas like southern sections of Leander as well. But as we zoom this out, we've got dry air about to dominate most of central Texas. And what that's going to do is that is going to limit any more snowfall that makes its way through. But as you take a look at the Houston area, those guys have been getting hammered all night long and into the early morning hours before we get to Beaumont and then southwestern Louisiana, where they have a blizzard warning in effect. It's the first time that region has ever had a blizzard warning. But right now, areas along and east of I-35 do have a winter storm warning until 6 this evening and a winter weather advisory for some of our hill country counties, with the exception of Mason and Milam counties, because of the accumulations are greater in the Austin metro and points east rather than sections of the hill country. We also have a cold weather advisory in effect for the entirety of the KVUE viewing area, and that is because we have feels like temperatures that are below 20, and that is the key threshold for a cold weather advisory to be triggered. So make sure you're protecting the 4 Ps: the people, pets, plants, and pipes. Another look, a little bit of a swerve there by that truck right there in that weather camera, that Zach Theater camera, right there along Lamar as well as Riverside Drive, that particular corner right in front of the Zach Theater. Upper 20s for the most part, some mid 20s in places like Burnett and Gillespie counties, and some light snow being recorded on the map. Also, we're having gusts of around 20 miles an hour, maybe slightly higher than that, and sustained winds between 10 to 15 from the north-northeast. And that's why we have those feels like temperatures now in the teens, and that's been the case all morning. Now through tomorrow morning is where we have that weather impact alert period. So please drive slowly if you have to today. A lot of slick roads here locally, and everything should be out of here by the time we get to 11 a.m. Hannah?
Thanks so much. Great advice there, Jordan. And I'll tell you what, it's been kind of evident flowing throughout the morning. A lot of these crashes have been clearing up pretty quickly, which is good. Others, not so much. So let's give you another vantage point. This is still that poor tractor trailer from earlier. Now we've got some light on the crash. You can see it kind of had that jackknife situation. It was pulled off to the shoulder. They're still clearing that out. As a matter of fact, it looks like 2 different ones now that we have a better look at that. I do want to show you there are some areas that are having some successful travel this morning. But like I said, don't push it, because you just never know when you get into that slip spot. This is that live look out in Round Rock, not too far from East Palm Valley. You can still see some of that snow building off on the side, but of course TxDOT went through and really tried to clear all of our major roadways here. But look at this. I mean, we're still dealing with a lot of debris, a lot of stalled vehicles, and then just kind of these domino crashes. So right now we actually have a new crash that just popped up on Congress Avenue, not too far from that Stastny area. And then we're also still seeing some trouble heading northbound on I-35 near Terry Road. Also, just a quick note to share with you, if you're traveling on 290 in that northern portion where it meets with I-35 and 183, we've had quite a few things for this little stretch right here. So once again, just keep it safe and keep it slow.
You can never go too slow on those roads. Now, we keep talking about, the snow and the sleet accumulation has really been throughout central Texas, but some of the hardest hit areas really in our southeast part of our viewing area.
Yeah, that includes LaGrange. Let's go live to Malia Masamoto. She is there now. Malia, I know the last time we checked in with you about a half hour ago, that wind was really whipping the flags around in front of the courthouse. The snow was falling. How is it looking? Right, I see the flag going again behind you. It still looks like it's really cold out there.
Yeah, Adam and Yvonne, the wind is still going really strong. We've also seen a lot more of these flurries coming down right now. Probably, I would say, the most we've seen out since we've been out here this morning since 4:30. But if you want to take a look what it looks like right now as the sun is up, it has become quite a little winter wonderland out here. Kind of looks like a snow globe. You can obviously see more of this snow on the ground here. It may have been harder to see earlier this morning when it was darker out, but now you can really see this snow. And LaGrange ISD out here, they have canceled school for today. They haven't made a decision about tomorrow yet because they are still expecting some freezing temperatures tomorrow as well. So they're going to be making a decision later today. But there is some snow on the ground. You can make some snowmen. Like these are my friends Steve and Sally that we made earlier this morning. They've got some scarves on to keep them warm because it is chilly out here, and it is also a little bit slick as you're walking. I almost slipped actually on this sidewalk over here. So you want to be careful if you're walking around this morning, want to go outside. Oh, there comes the wind again, and see the snow that's happening. Make sure you're taking a slow, not running around in the snow too much because you don't want to slip, obviously. But yes, definitely cold and windy out here in LaGrange, but really beautiful, honestly. Adam and Yvonne, I'll send it back to you.
Yes, blustery, but you did mention that you tried to make a snowball, and it does kind of pack. It packs up, right? The snow.
Yeah, it's you can pack it. It's compact. It's solid snow out here, I would say.
It's great to see Steve and Sally the snowman.
Yeah, they made an
still
appearance.
Going strong too.
We want kids, though.
They are hanging on.
Yeah, I sound like a grandparent. We want kids. Okay, Steve, Sally, and hopefully another edition coming up.
Leah, thank you. Here's a look at the radar this morning. That snow is just going down in the area, but that is creating some slick conditions.
So if you're heading out on the roads this morning, please be careful. And again, only go on the roads if you need to be. Kelsey Sanchez is safely in our storm chaser this morning with a look at those conditions. As more people are kind of out and about, what are you noticing out there, and where are you at this point?
Hey there, Yvonne and Adam. Well, we're now westbound on Koenig in central Austin. We've been pretty much all over the grid here, just, taking a look at conditions. And there haven't been too many people out on the road. Again, I think they're listening to what we're saying. If you don't need to be out, then don't. And again, those flurries have sadly stopped. But again, like you just mentioned, those slick conditions, be very wary of those. I mean, we kind of run into some issues where we were sliding and we were going, way under the speed limit. So if you can imagine, no matter how slow or fast you're going, you just need to be very, very cautious of that. Now, just taking a look at what I'm seeing here. I mean, again, not much people on the road, but you see that white powder. I mean, it just looks so nice, and it looks kind of like a winter wonderland out here. But again, not many people on the road, and we have been noticing, like us, that, they're just taking their time. They're at a snail's pace. They're not really in a rush. And again, if they don't really need to be out there, they're not going to be out there. So again, we're just here in central Austin, but like I've said a couple seconds ago, just all over the grid, and really people are just being very mindful. I mean, we have seen, people on bikes, walking, running, doing their thing, but they're staying warm, we're staying warm, and that's just really the advice we can give you guys. Just prepare, have your equipment if you needed those ice scrapers, just be ahead of the game so you're not, falling into those dangerous conditions like we've been mentioning, those accidents we've been seeing. So again, just be very careful, be warm, and just stay safe if you need to go out. But again, don't if you don't need to. Yvonne and Adam.
Always better to be prepared.
Yeah, preparation and patience definitely is key. Go slow. Thanks so much. Well, Milam, Bastrop, and Fayette counties, they're seeing some of the coldest temperatures in central Texas. And the Fayette County Emergency Management Director says they've decided to close schools and county offices for the safety of kids and staff. And she says the roads and bridge crews, well, they don't have big snow plows for the roads because they rarely get this kind of weather, but they're prepared for whatever happens. She says they're not too worried about the outcome of this storm compared to some in the past.
This storm's a little bit different because it's only expected to last about 24 hours. So the precipitation is supposed to end Tuesday afternoon. The problem is going to be it's not going to get above freezing. So anything that's on the roads is going to stick again Wednesday morning because it'll be below freezing as well.
Yeah, she's right, because our cold weather advisory is until noon tomorrow. So refreezing could happen. And she says that all they ask for is folks to stay inside, off the roads if they can, to make sure that EMS and first responders can stay safe and warm as well. And taking a live look at the roads right now, this is a live look at I-35, the northbound upper deck. Vehicles have spun out on I-35 and 38th and a half Street. The upper deck, Hannah, I don't know if I would be traveling on those right now.
I know that is what we've been seeing, that issue all morning long. This stretch has had several crashes, and this is a prime example. Look at the way that everything just comes to an halt, and you can kind of see some of those delivery trucks trying to squeeze through there, and there's first responders trying to work the scene, and that is the big concern with these elevated areas. Ooh, he's trying to move over there. And once again, this is that live look, this whole stretch on that upper deck of I-35. And really, where it intersects with 290, we've been seeing some issues there as well. Let's take a look around town once again. Also seeing a crash right now on the exit ramp, not too far from Old Settlers. So we've been seeing some things wrap up, and that's another thing that we see year after year anytime we get these events. The entrance ramps, the exit ramps, and then those upper deck areas are the first ones to go. We're making some improvement, though, in the Buda area, where we've had that tractor trailer issue all morning. But look at this across the area, really starting to see things ramp up. So this is that incident that I'm referring to right now at Old Settlers. Good morning, Round Rock. This is northbound, and it's that stalled vehicle that kind of turned into an incident after that. And that happens too. A little bit of car trouble, and then someone slides into it, and it turns into a bigger thing. And this is the entry ramp that is blocked because of that incident, I-35, with that stalled vehicle there. You can see across the area, it's just really slowing things down with these crashes as well. And giving you just another live look around town. I appreciate that live look from JP too, with that whole area that we've been seeing moving into 56th Street today. Right now, across the map, though, you can expect those slowdowns.
Yeah, Hannah, as you said, a little issue on the roads can really spiral into something much bigger too. So please, everybody, if you don't have to be on the roads, please stay off. Be very careful. Well, this morning, right now, all Cap Metro services are shut down. It looks like we're actually talking about the libraries here. Those are some of the places you can go and stay warm today.
Yes.
The Central Library,
Yes.
Ross's Branch, Ruiz Branch, and Little Walnut Branch.
And they're open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So those are, shelters for anyone who loses power or just needs a warm place to stay. Remember, the Austin Public Library will have all those branches serve as warming centers today.
It's great to see that those are available, and I believe we're also going to be talking about the airports as well this morning. Critical department crews at Austin's airport, they are really keeping things running as smoothly as they possibly can with this winter weather. Right now, more than 40 flights out of ABIA are canceled or delayed. So if you have a flight, be sure you check with the airline for the most up-to-date information. Now, in an effort to try to minimize delays, airport officials say there is a plan in place to keep that runway clear of ice.
To be prepared, we have a lot of new de-icing technology, and we have not snow plows, but machinery that can go onto our trucks to make sure that we can plow away snow if necessary.
And again, if you are traveling today, you want to check with your airline before you drive to the airport. So grateful for all those crews out there working to help make sure those operations stay as smooth as possible. Jordan, what kind of conditions are they facing outside right now?
Well, Adam, there is a bit of a lull in the action at the airport. There's the airport right about here along 71 and 183 there. So the airport's right in there. And there you see a lot of that snow has started to taper off. But there's another band that's on the way. But as we zoom this out a little further, looks like the Hill Country is almost done for the day and for the event, because we've got dry air filtering in from the west-northwest, and that is what's going to usher in the end of our snow event. But let's take a look at the Houston area real quick, and even the Beaumont area, as well as portions of southwestern Louisiana, because a very rare situation has occurred, and we're going to talk about it in a moment, but we are tracking the winter storm warnings still in effect for the Austin Metro, as well as portions of the coastal plains. Hill Country counties, you guys are under a winter weather advisory except for Mason and Milam counties. And this is all until 6 this evening due to accumulations that could cause travel issues. They're a little more amplified in the Austin Metro as well as portions of the coastal plains. But check this out. This red right here in the Beaumont area, as well as portions of southwestern and even out into south central Louisiana, that is a blizzard warning that is in effect. And that particular National Weather Service office in Lake Charles has issued a blizzard warning for the first time ever. And we've also got that cold weather advisory until noon tomorrow as a result of those bitterly cold temperatures and those feels like temperatures getting down below 20 degrees.
Those snow bands continue to come down. We're going to go back here to this live look. I mean, this picture really tells the story, right? You're looking at I-35 northbound upper deck. A vehicle spun out of control at I-35 and 38th and a half Street. Now, JP is giving us this picture right here. JP, can you hear us? And let's talk a little bit about the fact that, I mean, this is what happens when you're out and about, and maybe you shouldn't because the roads seem fine and then they're not.
Yeah, so you can see right here, they started to go up the ramp, and that is where it gets icy, is when the wind is able to go underneath the roads. So you can see that white pickup all the way to the end at the left. It looks like he lost control, probably spun out as soon as he got onto the bridge there, and that ice, he just lost control and he is pointing the wrong directions. Police are allowing some vehicles to head by to the right-hand side there. Some vehicles, when I first arrived, nobody was going anywhere, so they were backing up the wrong direction, backing up to get off the exit right behind me. I saw about a half a dozen vehicles do that, and that was absolutely crazy because a lot of semis were coming down I-35. And so you can see some people are trying to go around it, but right now it is completely stopped on I-35 here.
Yeah, JP, this is just, first of all, thank you for being out there in the elements all morning long and bringing us images like these to really help show the situation that's out there on the roads. But this is just, there's so many things here that really perfectly shows how dangerous it can be. What Hannah was talking about, where one little mishap, one car spinning out can lead to a much bigger problem. And then, as you mentioned, JP, people trying to reverse, trying to go the other way and coming in close contact with semis going the correct way. I mean, it just, even if you know what you're doing, even if you're experienced driving in snow and ice, there's so many other factors out of your control that can really just make the commute a headache and dangerous too.
JP, even just braking or something that you normally would do on a regular nice weather day, it takes a little longer in weather like this, right?
Yeah, people don't factor that in with semis. Semis, even on good days, it takes them a long time to stop. But when they hit some ice, there may be no stopping at all, and people backing up against it. It's best just to be patient, and I would definitely, all morning, I have not gone over any of these overpasses at all. I have tried to stay off of everything that goes up in the air. You're better to take a frontage road. Like right along here, you can see there's a frontage road that you can take. There's no reason to get on these overpasses.
I'm with you. That's some good advice. I mean, if you don't have to get on those, don't. It just makes a lot more sense to stay on those feeders.
Yeah, Mopac is usually my drive into work, and I just stayed on Lamar, on Burnett. You just, I mean, because as Kelsey was showing us earlier too, when you come on a patch of ice, especially if you're going anywhere near highway speeds, you have no time to react. And even if you're going slowly, it can still cause some problems and be dangerous.
JP, thank you so much for bringing us this live picture here, and be safe out there, as I know you are. I mean, he really has the best advice. Stay on the feeder. Overpasses, those tend to be icier, and you just don't want to chance it. And unfortunately, this driver took a chance, and it didn't end up in their favor, you know?
It just goes to show you, too, even if you have a larger truck like a pickup truck, the ice does not care. I mean, it can get anybody. So, JP, thank you. Let's take a look at the larger traffic situation and more of the roads with Hannah. Hannah, how's it looking out there?
Let's do it. I mean, that exact stretch. So we're talking about that stretch heading into that Miller neighborhood near Dell Children's out there. There have been several crashes there where I-35 meets with 290. It has been such a trouble spot all morning. And I appreciate JP. He is an expert on these crashes. I mean, he works overnight. He has seen these crashes for years, so he knows about it. That's still that ongoing incident over there in Buda. And then over here, you can kind of see this is where we're heading into that Miller neighborhood. To give you a better idea here, it's mainly impacting the northbound lanes at 38th and a half Street. So you can see here's Dell Children's. So here's where you would turn off into the Mueller area and right off of Airport Boulevard. So on that upper deck, not too far from DKR Stadium. And then as you head further north is where you're kind of running into all these crashes up towards 290 today. But really seeing widespread impacts. So I'm going to kind of actually zoom out here one more time just to show you we're all dealing with a little bit of something. So earlier we were dealing with that entry ramp ramp with that multi-vehicle crash near Old Settlers in Round Rock. They're clearing those crashes out now. If you're coming in from Buda and South Austin, still really dealing with some slowdowns. Several tractor trailers out there have jackknife, and they're having to clear those out as well. Also seeing some debris from some of these gusty winds. So, I mean, it's just kind of a hot mess right now, really causing area-wide slowdowns. But that's the main headline for Central Austin. That crash on I-35 at 38th and a half Street right now. Multi vehicles involved.
All right, now we continue to have this coverage of our winter weather. Now, if you have some pictures, some nice pictures or some video that you want to share with us, you can. All you have to do is go to 512-459-9442 to kind of share those pictures and that video with us.
Yeah, we'd love to see them as we take a look at different areas around Central Texas this morning after that snowfall overnight. This camera is not too far from downtown Lamar and Riverside.
Our Zach Theater camera, yeah.
Zach Theater camera, that's how it looked this morning on my commute into work, and you can see that snow, that accumulation on the road is still sticking around as those temperatures still hover in the 20s. It's going to be like that for some time.
Yes, remember, it's blustery out there. It feels like temperatures are in the upper teens to 20s. And this cold weather advisory is going to be until noon tomorrow. So don't just think, OK, we're done. You know, we still have until noon tomorrow, and some areas might refreeze. And again, we keep telling you, we can't stress enough. You can see officers here. This is I-35 and 38th and a half. This is the overpass. You got to make sure that you stay safe on the roads. If you don't need to be on those overpasses, just avoid them.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us here on KVU Plus. Stay safe out there.